I am a long-time Pokemon fan. Pokemon Fire Red was one of the first games I played every single mainline game in the series since. Although I don't want this entire video to be a deep comparison to Pokemon, it's important to note that the innovation PalWorld achieved is the sort of thing I've wanted waiting for Game Freak to do for over a decade. I have had extensive time playing PalWorld, watching videos and everything in between. I'm going to be discussing my experience with the game using 6 core components: creature collecting gameplay, survival gameplay, user experience, multiplayer, replayability, and creature design. Honestly, this is one of my favorite parts of PalWorld is the creature collecting. The entire creature capture loop is genuinely a perfect example of creating intuitive design and a fun gameplay loop without overthinking the entire process. Between weakening pals, the way pals group together, and the simple action RPG controls, I cannot fault this overall flow. It doesn't slow down the momentum and take you out of the game at all, which is not the same thing I can say about many other games in the creature collecting genre. As for survival gameplay, I'm not used to playing this type of game. My only real experience with the genre is spending hundreds of hours playing Satisfactory, which has less survival elements and more base building and assembly lines. Although I thoroughly enjoy this side of the game, there is no real challenge in the base management of PalWorld. Besides being limited on base slots, putting pals in the base and having something decently efficient is quite brain dead, at least in the early and mid parts of the game. There's absolutely no punishment for not optimizing the flow of your base, and your pals continuously slacking off felt unpredictable and unintuitive. I suspect the base building elements of PalWorld are lackluster compared to other competitors in the genre, but the way they incorporate the pals makes it fun in its own right. As for the user experience, this is one of my favorite things about PalWorld. From the moment you enter the game to the moment you capture your 60th or even your 100th pal, the game is insanely simple to understand. From the early tutorial not handing-holding you into oblivion like modern Pokemon, and the tasks required to upgrade your base level by level really help guide you through all of the systems without forcing you to do anything you don't feel like. The only draw here is after the first boss, the exploration becomes a tad aimless, but it does thrive under sandbox and exploration conditions. As for the multiplayer, I have explored it quite a bit and even set up a server of my own, which was surprisingly easy. The obvious downside is due to the action nature of the game, it can be a bit frustrating with anything but a low ping connection. That being said, I've been playing on 100 and 150 ping, and although it feels a little bit janky at times, it doesn't make me want to put down the game and leave. And in fact, it makes me want to strive even harder at times. I must admit I'm surprised at how little that actually affects the gameplay. The core multiplayer features are extremely simple and don't crowd the rest of the game, making this a fun journey with friends to create funny and memorable moments. However, when it comes to replayability, this is where PalWorld takes a dip. Without any core PvP elements, such as an arena or a competitive scene, after the game is finished, you have got the best pals and then the entire journey feels a tad empty. To even show them off in other ways, you'd have to restart your journey entirely and join someone's server. If there was a way to carry your progress into other worlds or battle in a competitive arena, it could change the way the game is played completely. Right now, getting the best pals doesn't really amount to much since you don't actually need them to complete the game, in fact, of beating every boss or reaching the max base level. By giving that more purpose, it could enhance the gameplay even further and make you want to replay a game so that you can catch different pals and level them up with you through your journey. As for the creature design, I'm going to be brutally honest. I love the overall art style and aesthetic, although it can get old a little bit quickly. There are some designs I think are cool. Tombat and Penking, for example, are absolutely awesome. However, 90% of the designs are hot garbage. This has nothing to do with Pokemon, I just don't think they're very inspired. And 100% of the names are incredibly terrible. I cannot stress this enough, the names for these pals are so dumb. You also feel super detached from pals since their progression is so disconnected. They don't evolve in any way and they level up so fast there's no real incentive to carry a specific team. Both that and not being able to send out all your pals at once makes you only focus on your single strongest pal even when it has a stupid dumb name. I'm sorry to all the fans of the designs, they are weak and don't lead to any meaningful world building. Pengullet is found near a river but doesn't interact with it, and there's no indication that Pengullet evolved in such a way to help it thrive in PalWorld's environments. That is one thing that Pokemon has always done really well throughout the ages, is they've really considered the world they're putting the Pokemon into, rather than just the Pokemon themselves. Now, here's the conclusion. Does it deserve the title of second most all-time concurrent players on Steam? Undoubtedly, yes. It proves a gameplay loop that many gamers like myself have been craving for a very long time. By extension, it executes on it almost perfectly. It leaves some to be desired, but hits the core gameplay beats flawlessly. The better question is if PalWorld is just a passing fad. Unfortunately, without core replayability features, it could fade into obscurity quite quickly. It doesn't have the procedurally generated environments like Minecraft, but if a major modding community can spring up around PalWorld, then it has the recipe to be a mainstay in gaming. If you found this helpful in understanding how PalWorld fits into the world of gaming, then please drop a like and subscribe for more awesome PalWorld videos.